Yo, welcome back to the Heavily Opinionated Podcast. It's your boy, Jamel Kijana, aka Melly Mel, aka whatever you want to call me. And with me, I got...
Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy Platinum P, man, back in the building. Platinum Pat, Pimp Pat, the one who might have hit her from the back. You can call me whatever you want, bro, but just don't call me that. Hey, man, all
Yeah,
right.
okay. Yeah, it's just me and Pat right now so far. If the other boys hop in, they hop in. If not, it's all good. We're going to carry the load. So, pause.
Pause.
Yeah, we gotta pause that one. Carry the load, like, come on, man. I gotta do better. Yeah, go ahead. Talk about analyze the fight, man. Because
So
you seem to
look,
you be tapped in a little bit more about
I,
that one.
I fuck with boxing and I'm fucking with it more and more. Just looking at it. I will say, to your point of what you said, I love UFC. Like, I love UFC. And before I even go in a little deeper, we could possibly go over and talk a little bit more about the UFC card that was going on Saturday night as well.
True,
Crazy fucking fights.
I heard about that one.
Crazy fucking fights. I'm talking for them to all finish in submission, like how they did, has no fucking like it has no remorse, or like you can't even like look at that stat and be like, oh, okay, they just was grappling. No, nigga, they was hitting. Like, that shit was crazy, bro. But that on the boxing tip, man, bro, I've been saying Bud from the day one, bro. I've been saying Bud. I've been saying, bro, Spence. I've been saying it's gonna be a great fight. I've been saying Spence had the ability to possibly, surprise Bud, but I thought Bud was going to surprise Spence way more, and we saw it from day one. The thing about Bud, Terrence Crawford, bro, is he's walking forward at all times. Something that I looked at while I was watching the fight, and I don't know if this is, and I have to go back and look at Errol Spence's fights to see if this is just how he fights or what. But from what I know about sports, what I know about boxing, is your leading foot is planted, but your back foot, you're not supposed to be on your heel.
Mm.
His foot was planted the entire time, meaning he was going to be on his heels. Bud's foot, he was on the ball of his toes the entire time, meaning every time he took a step back, you saw him jump straight forward, like immediately, athletically, immediately lunging and into his hits, versus a person whose foot is planted is doing it. It's not the same explosiveness coming. Pause. So that being said, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at that the whole fight, bro. Bud's foot
He
is
was pretty loose. It was like Crawford just had to stand there and just like poke and just kept poking, just like boom, 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 poke, while like Spence was just all over the place.
yeah, like
And I hate to put it in this
it was
example, but it's
reaching.
like when your little cousin is trying to like fight you, and all you're doing is just like tapping him real quick.
It looked like he was reaching. Like it just looked like he was reaching
Yeah.
and lunging the whole time. Like
That was tough, man. That was a tough one to watch. My initial reaction earlier when you said let's talk about the fight, it's because my uncle called me earlier that week. He said you want to come watch the fight at his brother's house. I'm like, cool, what's up? Let's get it. But I also had a little bit of homework due. I was also working all day, those 7. I put aside all that and said, I'm gonna pop out and go watch this fight. The moment he got knocked out, the moment he got knocked down the second time, I'm like, I should have stayed home and finished my homework. This brother done wasted my time. Now I'm all the way 30 minutes from home, 11, 12 o'clock at night. We still not finna just leave right after the
facts.
fight. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, this man done wasted my night. Glad I ain't put no money down. Because one, I'm not too knowledged in the sport of boxing to put my money down. It don't even matter. I could be completely knowledgeable in the sport. I'm not going to put no money on it. Because at the end of the day, these are random people that could have a bad day and mess up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That was a
Like the one
shitty
day
day.
somebody could bet on the Chiefs is when they lose to the Jaguars. You know what I'm saying? Like you
I.e.
never know.
me. The one day that a nigga bet on the fucking Falcons. Niggas is fucking up.
Exactly.
Excuse me. Let me change my wordings because I've been looking at people. Them guys is up. Falcons is up 28-3.
You right.
28-3. I'm live. Man, bruh. Tom Brady done smacked that. Like
Oh
he's
yeah,
an
run me that
acorn.
money. Yeah, give me the parlay, bro.
Then I'm like, all right, bet. I see you can't bet against Tom Brady. Next year come around, Philly versus the Pats. Man, shoot, y'all tripping if y'all think Tom Brady gonna lose. Tom Brady just beat no boys 28-3. Y'all
That's
tripping if you think
crazy.
Tom Brady gonna lose.
I ain't
Put
even
my
think about
bread
it
down
like
on
that.
Tom. Put my
Yeah.
bread down on Tom. I do not bet on football, people. I don't even know too much about football for me to be around here betting on football, but let alone, like you said, I don't even bet on people. Like, I'm not betting on that. I'm not betting on much, bro. Like, I bet on myself. I'm not betting on other people.
And that's why I'm not mad when these football players be getting caught. Baby, be like, bro, I knew I was gonna get 200 yards this week.
Facts. Facts. Like, bro, hey, just let me know. Let me know who you betting on and when to bet on you. Hey,
Yeah,
cause
with the
you
bet
know
on
when you
you.
on the bullshit and when you not. So
For
let me
real
know.
though.
But
For real though. Yeah,
yeah,
wow.
man. Yeah, bro. Like I bet on that man. And shoot.
I didn't even think
What
about it like
happened?
that. He won that, and that made people say, "Oh, let me never bet against him." And then the next year coming up, people are like, "Oh, well, you can't bet against him," and then he ended up losing. I know
Yeah.
that did probably piss a bunch of people off.
I said, bro, I ain't betting on nothing. Fuck
And
Tom.
then I think he won the next year again after
Yes.
the Rams, and that
Yes.
was the year people probably was like, "Nah," because the Rams was looking really nice.
Fuck
Todd
Tom,
Gurley was
bro.
really nice.
Fuck
People was
Tom,
like, you
bro.
know what? Let me not bet again. Let me not. I'm gonna have to bet against Brady because he lost it last year to Philly. I bet you a lot of people done lost a lot of money going back and forth against Brady. That's wild. But yeah, that fight,
Fuck
man.
Tom. But
That
back to
was
the fight.
yeah, back to
But
the
yeah,
fight.
man. So I mean, from the beginning. First of all, we gonna start with the fact this man Bud Crawford got shot in the head. The man Channing Crowder asked him, "What's the first thing you do when you're getting shot at?" The man said, "Shit, duck." Like the man said, "Shit, duck."
Bro,
Like,
that
bro,
was
he's
so funny, bro.
different.
When
The
I
man
heard them
drove
say that,
himself.
when I heard the boy say that, the commentator, he said he was shot in the head out of a dice game. I'm like, dog, now the whole world know that.
Oh
I'm
God,
like,
oh God.
bro, you telling the street business, bro. Chill out. Like, you just
My
went
boy
straight to.
said
He was
from
counting his
being
money in his
shot in the
car
head.
after a dice game on 32nd, and it's like, golly, like, so you know he was
Look.
shot.
He had a conference. Them boys were talking to him. He said, "Look, y'all can support your fighter and y'all can support me, but look, y'all ain't gotta get disrespectful up here because shit, y'all know, and the last thing y'all want is for Terrence Crawford's team to get active, and y'all know
Yeah,
we get active." I was like, "Oh, okay, brother, mean business." Hey, bro, don't
hey,
play with that man, bro. And that's one thing I learned for sure. Like, Bud ain't one person to play with at all, bro. Um, I
when was this that it happened? Because the man is 39 and 40.
five.
He's 40 and 0, and he's
Yeah, he's
35 years
40
old.
and up.
So when did the
I think
shooting
this
happen?
was when he was in like I mean it had to be in his 20s, man.
So yeah, it had to be early on in his boxing career. Because I'm sitting there
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you do what you want to do with your life and your money, but bro, what you betting on? Dice. When you 20 and 0, you know what I'm saying? By the time
Hey,
I'm 10 and 0, I'm not doing none of that stuff no more. I could understand you still only have like less than 10 wins. I could understand you still like, living the life that you do. But once you get up in that bracket, you got to start moving differently. You know
hey,
what I'm
brother.
saying?
I'm gonna say one name for you. Mike Tyson.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he never tapped out.
Hey, all right then.
He never
All
tapped
right
out.
then,
You're right.
brother.
Now, I gotta remind
You,
myself. Boxing is a different sport than like, you
you gotta
know.
be a dog. You
Yeah,
gotta
you
be a
have to
dog.
actually consider
You
staying in
don't
that
play
lifestyle
boxing.
sometimes.
You don't
Yeah, you're
play
right. You're
boxing.
right. You're
You
not
know what I'm
play.
saying? You
You
go
are
out
a
there, nigga.
boxer. You
You
are
are
a boxer.
fighting.
It is
You are
you.
sparring. You are like you're not practicing, nigga. Like
Yeah, like
this
when
isn't practice.
what's his name? When Earl had like the thing that says strap season, I'm like, You know how many times I've heard that from motherfuckers that you don't really want? Like, I'm like, that's really a street term or strap. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah. You still have to have that dog in you. So
Right. But
I
shit,
get
you
that.
hey, you go in that motherfucker with his ass, you go bend and think you got shot. You be like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Like, you know.
this fight looked very street like. It was like very much like I'm gonna
He
have
was
to
just
show you.
fighting. Yeah, he
Yeah,
just started fighting. Like
yeah,
it didn't even look like he was like boxing. He was just trying to live.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
what my boy said, hey, look, Craig, you win some, you lose some, but you live.
Hey, as
You
long as you
live.
live. I was watching the fight, and the whole time I'm waiting for Errol Spence to have that Leon Edwards moment. You know what I mean? Because me personally, I've
Right?
watched UFC for the past couple years, boxing for maybe the past year, and I've never seen that moment. Or even when I would just keep up with the sport and not watch, I would still be hearing like, okay, where's that moment? I've never really heard of a moment that Leon had up until then. Me personally, I've never heard one. I can't remember any moment like that where the final round, the dude knocks him out. Like when I was a kid and me and my friends would do like play boxing, like we'd have the boxing gloves and one of us would do the thing, we would pretend that that moment happens. Like
Yeah.
we'd be like round three and then we start fighting and then one of us pretends to knock each other out at the last second. But I've never seen it in real life because the greatest boxers never had to do that. They would knock you out before
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? So, but with Leon, it was a case of an underdog that just, you know what, saw that spot right there at the right side of his head,
Temple.
and
Uh,
boom. And I was waiting for that for Arrow because I'm like, maybe that'll happen. I got to remind myself it's a different sport, so that openness is
yeah.
not there because you only have two areas you can really hit. You have the body or the head. You know what I'm saying? You can't work anything else. You can't do much else. And
Well, I
every
mean,
time Arrow just kept, Crawford kept blocking every headshot. So I'm like, okay, now he's going to go to the body. And then the body just wasn't doing enough. The body was
right.
just leaving him more vulnerable.
No,
So,
facts. I mean, that's always going to be the case. Yeah, you swinging for the body, especially, and then you say, I mean, they just got hands. The thing about UFC is if you look at that moment, every time that moment happens, I mean, the Jorge Masvidal, what 2, 3 seconds into the fight,
oh
he
my
runs straight
gosh.
across the ring and just does a flying knee, just like how we just saw from Derek Lewis this past weekend. The thing about those is it's a
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
flying
whoa.
knee.
Who did Darren Lewis do it to?
I can't remember who he did it to,
I gotta look that up because I've been praying for him
but
to get back. Ever since he
but
took that L to gain, I was like, dude,
yeah, I'm not. That was just a crazy fight, bro. That was two big ass goddamn fighters,
that
man. Like that.
was, man.
But the thing about it is these guys are like
Focus
your
leaning,
legs is the
bro.
strongest part of your body,
Mm-hmm.
so you can punch a nigga all day, but if I kick you, bro, that shit's gonna hurt you 10 times worse at anywhere. If I kick you in the stomach, if I kick you in your leg, if I kick you in your head, and most of those moments is somebody getting kneed, somebody getting elbowed, somebody getting kicked. That ain't happening in boxing. That ain't happening in
Yeah,
boxing. In boxing, for somebody to get hit like that and just put straight to sleep like Rolly did, leaning outside the ropes and shit, he's exhausted. Like you have to be exhausted at that point. Like legs can't even hold up no more. Your arms can't hold up no more. Like you're exhausted. In UFC, if I'm feeling that way, I can literally just grab you and try and like just wait. Like wait a couple minutes, you know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? Wait a couple seconds. Let me gather my breath, try and avoid getting hit, a couple times. But for the most part, I can kind of just post up. And boxing, you literally can't even grab them. Like you can't grab up. Like they trying to like split up. You know what I mean? So it's different, bro. It's a different game. It's definitely a different game. 100%.
Yeah,
I think
it
Conor
definitely is.
McGregor. I think Conor McGregor saw that.
Yeah,
When he tried to fight Floyd, like nigga,
yeah. That's why I really don't have respect for the like Jake Paul thing because it's like while I'm watching the fight this week, they're promoting that with Nate Diaz. I'm like, okay. The first couple times, I'm like, okay, it's all cool. It's you did that to kind of get a name for yourself, and kind of just let them know that you could knock out at least a professional fighter of some sort. You know what I'm saying? Like you proved yourself. That's cool. But now it's like, okay, is this all you're gonna fight? Like
Right? Are you only gonna fight
all your
UFC?
wins come off of retired UFC. That's the thing too. Ben Askren was retired. Woodley was retired. Nate Diaz is retired multiple times, I believe. Like
Right.
he retired from the UFC like earlier this year, I believe. I remember watching that fight. That was a bloodbath. I forgot who he fought, but that one was.
See, I'm excited for that Nate. The only reason why I'm excited for Nate Diaz, bro, is because that man got hands, bro, and he one of them type of people who like don't lay down.
Yeah.
Like he don't.
I think this
lay
might
down.
be the freshest UFC fighter though that he's played, because I think Woodley had been retired for at least a year. Askren had been retired for a solid minute.
Man, I feel like Woodley went in there and gave that man a check though. Like Woodley went in there and was like, "All right, bro, I do this shit for a check."
I don't know.
Like, ain't no way, bro. That shit was so crazy, bro. He was supposed to shut this shit all the way down. After that win, this shit
twice too.
All the way up.
Twice. He got him twice.
Yeah.
That's tough. But yeah, that fight's gonna be coming up soon. That Nate Diaz and Jake Paul. I don't know. I could try to pop out, see if I'm like into it, but I don't know, man. That's gonna be tough.
I might throw it on. Throw it on, but I don't know.
Because I didn't even get to see his one loss. I've only seen the guy win. I didn't get a chance to see the Fury fight that like got postponed twice and all that stuff like that. So we'll see how that one goes. But
thanks. I didn't get to see that fight either, but I mean, honestly, I'm excited. I want to see him. I just want to see him get beat up. I mean, is that bad?
No, it's not.
Tell me.
No. Hey, you got my vote. My vote is, hey, run it. You got to do what you got to do.
Is that a nigga just hating?
No, I wouldn't call it hating, because it's like, it's not really hating. It's just it's rightfully earned, because it's like the way he goes about it. It's kind of like, because I'm pretty sure that's why. Well, okay, I'll ask you this: why do you want to see him knocked out or like beat up?
I'm trying to think of the politically way to say this.
I agree with you. If that's where you're going, that's mine.
I'm gonna go ahead and let that be out there. I'm gonna just go ahead and let that be out there right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this: it ain't race. It ain't race whatsoever. What it is, because I know. I mean, there's plenty of white guys who could box, bro. Boxing is a skilled sport. You know what I mean? So if you put in the work, bro, you can come up, you can box, bro. We see Mexicans, we see black people, we see white people, Italians,
Koreans,
all type of people, Koreans, like all type of people. So it ain't that, bro.
Pacquiao, Philippines.
It's the fact that like like this person one like didn't grow up fighting like how these guys grew up fighting.
It's the privilege of the
not even that.
It's the privilege of the status. It's the privilege of the status already. Because let's be honest, without the YouTube, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Without the YouTube, because a lot of people, when I say privilege, they're going to think I'm referring to white privilege. No, the status privilege of being a celebrity already.
And I mean exactly, and that's the thing. Is like, bro, these guys have been fighting all their life. Like, I'm talking about like backyard, bro. Bud say he started fighting because he was scared. Because he was scared of getting beat up, bro. So he started fighting, bro. Like, and now look at him. So I mean, these guys.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. When niggas say that, I be like, no, you probably was already scary. They probably was already scared of you. The way you fight, you had to have that already in you.
He could have been the smallest guy around. He probably was on that shit from day one. But that still don't mean he wasn't like really. When he tapped in,
I want to see. No, really, what I want to say is, I want to see the motherfuckers who he was scared of. I want to see that.
Hey, the most regular people you ever seen. You like, bro, this man goes to work 9 to 5.
Bro, if I was him too, I'd be like, damn, bro, you were scared of me like that? Shit.
Hey, look, I'm going home to my wife. Hey, I'm going home spanking that thing different. I'm gonna just let you know right now, nigga.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna let you know right now, bro. I put fear in these niggas' heart. What you talking about, man? I
Oh,
put fear in
dude.
these. Hey, I'm go talking crazy. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, it's just that, bro. Like these guys grew up, really, really putting in the work, bro. And you know what I'm saying? I really want him to understand that, like, bro, you can't, like I said earlier, you can't play this. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
granted, I do believe that he's putting in the work. I do believe that he's doing X, Y, and Z, but I don't believe that you can just pick up the boxing gloves and be skilled enough to hop in the ring with skilled fighters, which goes to
Yeah.
your point about the type of fighters that you're choosing and the type of matches that you're choosing. Because I believe you cross over and you put Tyron or you put Ben Askins inside of a UFC cage with Jake Paul, and it'll probably be completely
Oh,
different
oh,
results.
yeah. Because think about it. As a boxer, for me personally, I'm yet to hear a UFC convert to boxing and be successful. I've heard
Yeah,
boxers convert to UFC and be successful because it's easier to upgrade. Because when you go from boxing to UFC, now you get to upgrade your skill set. You get to use more and free. You get to advance and like I said, upgrade everything. But when it's the other way around, you have to restrict yourself. Because remember, there was times where Woodley was trying to do stuff that he
yeah,
wasn't allowed to do in
that
boxing. It's
you
like
just you
because
can't
of that
do.
muscle memory. So it's harder to constrict yourself than it is to upgrade your fighting skills. Because when you constrict is when you mess up and you find that weak point. But when you upgrade, all it takes is you to find that, put that work in, and then now you can advance and add your kicks in, and you can add the knee, you could add, your
Yep.
grappling and your wrestling to what you already have with your fist. So
No, for real. I mean, I strongly believe that. I
yeah,
strongly
because I've
believe that.
yet to see a
So,
UFC convert to boxing, and I think Nate Diaz is doing this as a look. Let's get some extra money, and I think
right,
that's why
right,
he
right.
made that
Absolutely.
announcement, and I don't blame him for that. So and I think it's tough, and it's good because if you're a UFC champion and you come over to boxing, it's okay if you don't win because it's not your sport. You're just doing
Nah,
this.
we know you're a badass,
You don't have
regardless.
to. You don't have to do this to prove yourself. You know what I'm saying?
But if you're a
So I could
boxer that
understand.
loses,
Yeah, so that's why I could understand Tyron Woodley saying, "I'll take the fight twice because I don't really care, bro. I'm a UFC champion. Do I really need?" I think it was more pressure on him because we was like, "You gotta win it for Nate." You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We gotta get
yeah,
it back
yeah.
for
Hey, you got it. Hey,
Nate.
we needed somebody to do that, bro. And that I think
Yeah,
that might have a little bit of it too, bro. The way he did my boy, man, he did not do. I didn't expect Nate to go out there like that
yeah,
though.
that was
Nate
wild.
went out there looking worse than AD. Cause
Yeah,
AD
yeah.
went out there crazy, bro. AD was just there looking like he was just I yada boy I yada like that shit was so wild.
Oh man, that what was I about to say about that? I think it's also boxing's fault too, though. They're the ones that let him in. Name a sport that lets a random not just a Well, yeah, he's a random celebrity. Say I'm gonna go train for like a year because it's not like he was training forever. The man was just playing football. He grew up playing football and wrestling or something like that. So it's not like he was training in boxing for a decent amount of time. It was only compared to a professional boxer. A year, consistently every day for a year is a good amount of time. But compared to the rest of the boxing community, it's nothing. It's what they've been doing forever. It's an average day for them. So, and probably the intensity level that they sparred and did things at was different. But so I can't
Right.
name a sport that allows somebody to just train for a minimal amount of time and say, "Oh, you can come over."
Well,
You know,
you want to know what it is? Boxing doesn't have a commissioner. Like who's the boxing commissioner?
I
Who's
really,
the? It's not
I
a
really don't
because there's
know,
no
but it's
league.
yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
bunch of different
That's true.
leagues. Like it's a bunch of different like companies down there just owning like this like the venue, owning this pay-per-view, like owning a marketing thing, but like in reality the owners are the fighters
Yeah,
in
that's true.
reality. Because if I don't want to fight you, I'm not going to fight you. There's nobody who's going to make me fight you. I can choose to fight somebody else. Only people who's going to make me fight you is the pressure from everybody else, the pressure from my mental mind. I mean, you can try to stop my bag, you know what I mean? But like, shit, if I'm Jake Paul and I'm putting up my own money and I'm telling y'all to all pull up here, You know what I mean? And I got Showtime already, and I'm the promoter and this and that. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, if they put up the money in the venue, they'll do it, and
Because I think
the
that's
thing
his
about it,
main
man.
thing. He's trying to cut out the promoter. Like he doesn't understand why. I think that's his thing. Like he's like, why is there a promoter, bro? Like y'all niggas are the fighters. Like y'all are the reason everybody is coming here. The promoter comes in and does all this work and get 10% off the top, bro. It's not even that much work. Or hire your own team. Have your own team and do it internally.
See, but that's the thing, though. Jake was in an opportunity to hire an own team for that because of the YouTube, the Disney, the
Exactly.
residuals. Like these guys that have been Crawford, Spence, these dudes that have been getting it out the mud. They didn't have a team like that. They didn't have a media team. They might have had a personal training team, of course,
Nah, facts.
but
I
like they
agree.
don't have those teams of media and business people the same
Who
way
else got TMT
the Paul brothers
Productions?
have.
Like who else is TMT? Like you know what I mean? Like Money Mayweather, the only person who got productions like that. Like other than that, shit, Mike Tyson don't even have his own like you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
boxing, promoting team. So I mean, it's like you know that's just a different level, man. When you start really putting in that money, bruh. And that's why. That's the only reason why he got in because he can't. I'm gonna tell you this right now. And Dana White would probably put him in the ring just off the sheer love, but you get your ass whooped, bro. You not fighting for no championship, like
Oh
for a
yeah, no,
long
they would
time.
never do that. They would, and that's the thing because the UFC doesn't have to. Unfortunately, boxing, and that's another. That's why I say they let him in because I feel like if they want to stop somebody, they can gatekeep you. They don't have to have a physical commissioner that says these are against the rules. They can find little ways of gatekeeping you out of coming into the community and just doing this. You know what I'm saying? Hence why Ice Cube had to start the Big Three. There's no real
Right,
rule as to why you have to why you can't be an NBA owner. It's just if they don't like you, they can make sure you don't have the resources
right. Like
to get on
you
that same
won't
level.
get the resources. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's the same way with that, whereas because they could find a way. The same way with Ice Cube is like, oh, he was saying it was hard to find venues because he's going to a venue that NBA team might usually use
might
for most of the
use
year.
or yeah.
So it could
No,
be
one
the
hundred
same
percent.
with that. The boxing
Then they don't want to
places could
give
be
ten
like,
percent.
exactly. The boxing places could be like, oh, we don't like you. We don't want you in here. So if you try to get a fight here in Vegas, we can get all the promoters that usually promote here to kind of. If all the promoters don't like that, they could go to that arena and say, don't let him go there, or we gonna stop having fights here. And Vegas gonna
Right.
look at that like, oh, never mind. Sorry, Jake, you can't come here. So and
No,
now
right.
Jake would have to host it in some gym with a bunch of cameras on Twitch or
I
something like that.
mean,
So
shit. Should I take my talent somewhere else? I mean, it's another
yeah,
arena
you know what
somewhere
I'm
else.
saying.
Bring that thing down to
But they
State
didn't.
Farm, baby.
But they didn't do that because they see how they've been saying boxing is a dying sport. Because you look at it, the fact
It
that
is.
Mayweather is just doing what do you call it? Not exhibitions. But what do they call those fights?
Shit,
Basically,
basically.
yeah, basically exhibition fights. He's doing
Celebrity
those
fights.
celebrity. He's just doing those, and those are bringing a lot of numbers. And in reality, I bet you if Tom Brady said, "I'm about to go play a 7-on-7 tournament," ain't nobody really finna watch it because we know
Yeah,
you're
I don't
not in
want
the
to see that
league.
shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's like in other sports, we don't. Once you're out the league, we're not really drawing to.
I
I
don't
think
want to
Ice
see
Cube
it.
to
But
bring up
Ice
Ice
Cube's
Cube
doing a good
again. I
job.
think he's changing that. I think Ice
Yeah,
Cube's
Ice
league is
Cube's doing a
changing now.
great job because I
Yeah,
want to
he's
see.
doing a
I
great
like
job.
to see them guys. But like, I'm not. I'm honestly, I don't think. I really don't think that I would be too interested in seeing. Well, maybe not Tom Brady, but there's a couple guys still from the NFL that I'd probably be like, yeah, hell yeah, go to the FB. What's the other thing like the FBL, the
USFL.
AFL,
USFL.
yeah,
See, that's the thing about the
USFL and all
USFL.
that.
They're still trying to make it this young guy thing or these like
Yeah,
this middle age
they're
thing.
they're they're
They're not
doing wrong
mixing
with the
it.
marketing. They're
Yeah,
doing wrong.
and that's where Ice Cube, where they started off, where it was just a bunch of older people. Now I'm looking at the rosters because I'm trying to see if I can go to the one that they have in Detroit next. I think it's like the 13th. And I was like, let me check out the teams, look at the rosters, see if I'm really interested. I'm like, oh, they got young guys. They got some
Yeah,
dudes. It's like
you got to be
I think you
21.
25. Yeah, I think it's something. It's like a
It's 21. You got to be
yeah. Okay,
21.
yeah,
It's 21 and older. So it's like I'm not going for none of your like, and that's what he was explaining on
yeah,
another show. He's like, yo, I'm not really going for none of the top guys. I'm
yeah. I'm
going
going for the
for
dudes that's already been looked at and
you know
said
what I'm
no to,
saying.
basically.
or 4 years and or went pro or whatever it may be, want to come home. So, I don't really know, bro. I think overall, as for the gatekeeping aspect for him, I don't know what is the answer, but I do think it's lame for the NBA to continue to do that. And I think, like
Yeah,
he was explaining, like, some of the owners even want to invest, some of the players could invest, and the big three could really be something big, bro. But they're just
yeah, they really do
being,
not want to see it because, and he
monopolizers.
put a good point on it when he talked about the other leagues that the NBA doesn't have a problem with. And I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, I didn't think about it like that. Because I'm like, well, maybe everyone's competition. No, just him, and
yeah,
that
like that's
shows how
crazy.
big he could probably make this.
It's
So
crazy because he literally like it's just him, and then on top of it, it's like, bro,
I'm
like
gonna be honest. Okay, I didn't. The last Olympics, where was that? Japan, the one right after the pandemic started. They had 3v3 basketball as an
yep,
Olympic sport.
yep.
I'm
I
telling
ain't
you
see that.
now. I'm telling you now. she what that lady said, that motherfucker's not real. I'm telling you
Hey,
now. I'm telling you now, Brad. I do not remember ever seeing that
I don't.
in the Olympics before that either. So I'm pretty sure Ice Cube started to really because 3v3 basketball has always been something in like the neighborhood or in like
It
high
is, yeah,
school or something like, but never at a professional level. And I think he made it something at a professional because usually the Olympic sports are something that at least has a professional level to it. You don't have Olympic sports without a professional level at some point.
right. No,
And
one hundred
that's
percent. That's true.
so
That's 100% true. And maybe he did implement that, but I don't remember. I don't ever remember seeing a 3-on-3 tournament before that, and
and
I think
now
he's
it's an
doing a
Olympic
great
sport.
job. And
Yeah,
he
he's
needs to
doing it really
continue what
good.
he's doing, man. He needs to really continue what he's doing in that space, bro. Because he's going to blow the. I think he's going to blow the doors off over these next 5 years. We're going to see a lot of people be. We're going to see a lot of ex hoopers in the big three.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I saw Jalen Brown was at one of the recent ones, and because I was also seeing how he talked about like how they're not allowed to, they can't,
Mm,
NBA players can't even put their money towards it, stuff like that. So,
right,
but they can still show up and show their support, and that's the best they can do. Really, that's the best they can really do is just show up and show support and say, hey, y'all might think it's competition, but we don't. We cool with these guys.
right. We cool with these guys. Shoot, they're not competing with us. Like, shoot, if they could, hell, let me get this guy to come to my team.
Yeah, and imagine if he
And
would have been able to
Ice
work
Cube
with
say
them.
he lets him go. Like he like,
Yeah,
nah, just let him go.
yeah, you can't stop them for that, and that's really good too. He's doing it the right way by not trying to. There's a difference between like trying to create your own lane and also trying to create an enemy. You know what I'm saying? And it would have definitely been kind of like an enemy type of energy if he was like, "Oh, nah, you don't need to go there. You good over
Right.
here. Why you got to go over there?" Like, nah, you understand why they want to go over there. It's more money, more opportunity. At least as of now, you know what I'm saying. Who knows what the future holds? I don't think in my generation I'll see a league that could compete with the NBA financially, but you never know one day. So, because all it takes is the right organization and the right backing and the right popularity. Just like how the ABA was gone, the NBA could be gone too. You never know. So,
Nah,
but
for real.
back to the fight because you did mention UFC had a crazy fight that night too. I heard it was with Poirier, and it was it starts with a G and it ends with like a JE. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I did hear about Poirier
Yeah.
fight, and I like him. He's solid. The Cajun dude, yeah, he cool.
Nah, that was a good fight. That was a decent fight too. I didn't really get to see the whole thing because, of course, I was watching the other fight, but I watched the highlights. I watched a little bit into it. Man, one thing that I kind of noticed about that fight was, um, honestly, bro, Dustin just got caught slipping. But I've been noticing that Dustin's kind of been missing a step. And I mean, even if you hear the language that he's talking, he's like, man, I'm just really excited to go in there. And I understand that every fight that I do get is one less fight that I can have. So I
Mm.
just appreciate the opportunity. And once you start talking like that, bro, retirement is coming up soon.
Yeah, Nate Diaz was
So,
doing that recently too. A few fights
yep.
before he called it.
So, that being said, I'm just like, all right, well, um, he's probably gonna be out of here soon, and you see him getting caught with this, and you see him getting caught with a couple other things, the other fight. I honestly I don't think that he would have gotten caught with this like maybe 3 to 4 fights ago. So that being said, you know, I'm definitely wishing the best for his career, but what I'm saying, whatever he decides to do, it's a lot of, it's whatever he decides to do, bro. I just think that I think he should hang it up, but I think whatever he decides to do, I'm
Shoot,
excited to
John
still
Jones ain't
watch the
hanging
fight.
it up.
That's a different guy. That's a
He
different
got to
fighter,
fight. I
bro.
think it's like November or something like that. He
That's
got
a
to fight.
He ain't got no reason to hang it up. John Jones has got them things still, and he always
You think
had.
so?
Yes.
You think he? I don't really know who he's fighting, but I've been hearing about this dude since.
Man,
He
bruh.
was the first person I
But
really knew in
but
the
John
UFC.
Jones took
Honestly,
off. He
him
took
and
off
then
like
McGregor.
5 years. John Jones took off like 5 years.
Exactly.
So I
When was
mean,
his last fight?
he just recently came back.
Okay.
I think it was this year or like the end of last year or something like that. But I mean, so he took off like 5 years, 5, 6 years, but he was still like, I mean, it looks like he was doing some training some years, some training, not training sometime, but he definitely put on some weight. But John Jones
Oh yeah, it was
definitely,
Cyril Gain. That's who it was.
but yeah, he
Yeah,
ain't,
but Gain in submission.
yeah, but he ain't missed a beat. I'll tell you that. So I definitely think that he can still get in there and fight. But you start talking about the Silvas, it's time to hang it up.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you had that
Silva's.
fight. You had Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, that was a good fight. He won by submission. But man,
Who I
that
saw
bloody
somebody.
fight by Tony Ferguson and Green.
Hmm.
That shit was crazy. Green caught Ferguson in early in like the first or second round. Oh, no, I think it was the first round. Yeah, I think it was the first round. He caught him like maybe like 2 minutes within the fight, but it just looked like same thing, bro. Tony Ferguson, he's older, bro. Like he's been in this, he's been getting his ass whooped for a while, but he's won a couple fights over the past few years. So I think that keeps giving him the spirit to try to keep doing it, but. Man, that guy, he's got some hands, bro. He got some balls. That man was getting his ass whooped, like, bro. His face was just, it was bad, bro. But he ended up, losing by submission. Um, and I'm honestly surprised, because he's a submission expert, ground technician. So, I mean, it was just some crazy fights. If y'all get a chance, just check out the highlights for sure. It was some crazy fights this weekend. I was hollering at the TV screen all weekend. Like,
Yeah,
yo,
I
this
saw
shit is crazy.
somebody had got submitted in the last second. I heard
That's
about
Tony
that one.
Ferguson. Yep.
Oh wow, that's wild. Because I remember hearing like a year
He was
ago
gonna lose.
about the submission thing, about how they say like you lose money if you pass out. Because
Yeah.
I used to always have me wonder. I'm like, dang, like bro, when do you know when to like tap out? Because it's like, dang, how do you calculate like that? But you got to at some point, because if you don't, you like some, because I've seen some dudes submit early when it's like, dude, you didn't have to. But
And
it's
then you
like,
gotta pay
why
that
take that
damn
risk?
doctor fee.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
Boy,
why take that risk? Because now you're gonna take, like you said, pay that doctor fee, and you got to pay the UFC. Well, not even
yeah,
pay UFC; they're gonna dock your pay. So
doctor pay.
imagine you just got your contract. So it's like, bro, you gonna have to just tap out early
I
because
think
you.
you already get a doc because of the submission laws too. Cause
Oh damn, for real?
like I believe so. Cause
That's
like
wild.
nigga, you're not supposed to lose like this. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
because no, bro. Every time I see wrestling in the UFC, after 30 seconds, boo. That's all you start to hear. It's like, yeah,
Facts.
nobody want to see y'all grabbing each other. Let's be honest. Like, pause. Like, nobody
Hey,
want to see that. Like, yeah, come
come
on,
on.
get the kicking and the knee in, and that's why I love watching Eddie Asanya. I like Usman, but Usman's changed it up a little bit. But Eddie
Yeah.
Asanya, he don't do none of that stuff. He don't
There's a
play that.
lot of it's some other guys I will say like that if you love India Sonya, Sugar Ray is pretty nice to watch.
Oh, you talking about
Uh,
Malley? O'Malley?
yeah,
Yeah,
O'Malley.
he's
He's
got a
pretty
fight
nice.
coming up
I
too. I
love
think he's
Kevin.
like Holland. Him and Holland
Yep,
fighting
I
soon.
love
They're the
Kevin
next.
Holland.
They're the next big
But
one. I do like
Kevin
him.
Holland is a fool. Derek Lewis. So I
Derrick
mean,
Lewis is
you got
nasty,
some
bro.
great
Derrick
guys,
Lewis
bro.
goes nasty, man. When he be slapping the floor, I be like, oh, he crazy, bro.
But
Derrick
what's
Lewis,
that Russian guy, Alexander Vashny or something like that? But he's a great fighter as well. Khabib's successor, that's a nutball. That man there is
um,
a nutball.
Khabib six. Oh yeah,
Khabib or
those
something
dudes.
like that.
Them dudes. Does Islamabad? Those dudes go crazy. They
He's
all train
like
together too.
he's like
Um,
that. He's really
not
like
Pierre.
that.
What's the other? What's the other dude? He's got
Pierre is
like
like
the.
that.
Oh, he's got the like silver white hair. What's his name? I'm trying to think of his name. Yeah, it just popped up when I was looking up some stuff. I'm trying to think of buddy name, but he's nice too, man. But yeah, I like. Of course, I always like Ngannou
Izzy,
too. Ngannou's solid.
Izzy, yeah. He was cool. He was cool. He just left the UFC.
Oh, Charles Oliveira. Oliveira is
Yeah,
nice.
Olivier Joe. Yeah, he's nice. He's nice to watch. That man, he's nutty. Like he gonna do some crazy shit.
I'm trying to think of this other dude. He's like a
Paolo Costa. He's pretty
Paulo
nice.
Costa's solid. Yeah, I've heard of this one dude. He was fighting out of Mexico. I can't remember his name. He's a short guy. I remember watching him fight a few years ago. It was
Mm.
solid. I haven't
But
really
yeah,
tapped that much into the ladies lately. I gotta get back into those. I remember I
mm,
watched one fight. It was
I
like
ain't really
a
watching
two
that.
title fight. I can't remember the lady's name, but she was
I'm
solid.
just not. I'm not interested in watching brolic women. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I love seeing women in the gym. Like when they're in the
Right.
gym with me, you know what I'm saying? I don't know creepy shit. Like I'm just saying like I love just seeing, like women, okay, yeah, you guys are getting in, you're doing your workout, you're doing what you gotta do, X, Y, and Z. But as for the like watching them like fight each other and shit like that, like that's weird. I don't know. I don't it's not I'm not really interested in that. Like it's kinda like on some like uh what's it
Amanda
called?
Nunes, that's her name.
Oh yeah,
She's
Amanda, she
solid.
was
Yeah,
nice though. She
she's
was
nice.
nice. I could watch Amanda. I could watch Amanda a little bit. I could watch Amanda a little bit, but like, I don't know. I just don't really like watching that. Like, I just really don't. I love watching women's sports. Like, but I just don't like watching women fight each other. Like that shit's very weird. I don't know why.
That's understandable.
I
That's
just
understandable.
don't.
I wouldn't say I've ever been like really into it, but if they're because they're gonna have them on in between, so it's like I won't sit there and skip through it or like get up and leave. Like no, I'll just watch through it. It's all
I
good.
won't.
I'm okay
Yeah, I'm
with it.
skipping. I'm skipping. I'm on a whole nother page.
Oh, shit.
I'm making sure that okay, I'll come back. Oh, okay, here we go. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
but I'm
saying?
not gonna do Leon Edwards like that though. Leon Edwards is nice. I do like Leon. I
Yeah,
gotta give him his
he
credit.
alright.
I
He
gotta,
alright.
bro. I used to play UFC 4, bro. My career player was undefeated. Only two losses came from Leon Edwards, bro. Don't know why. He
Man,
just was
first of all,
not
I
taking
gave
it.
Leon Edwards the business plenty of times. Pause and that shit. But I mean, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. He just caught my man slipping, bro. They did fight again. I didn't like the decision. But
Yeah, because I was
yeah,
gonna say, did Usman get it back or not? I can't remember.
yeah, they fought again, but I ain't like the decision. I really wasn't a huge fan
Because I
of
don't
the
think Usman did enough to
choosing.
get it back, though. I
That's
think
what I'm
that's what it
saying.
was.
That's all it was. But
And I think it's gonna be biased. I think the judges are gonna be biased because based
yeah,
off
to the champ.
how he took it from you. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why a lot of people are saying Crawford. I mean, Spence might not get a rematch because the way he took it from you. Like if
Well,
it was
nah,
a,
Spence gets his rematch.
you think
He
so?
has the
Well,
rematch. Yeah, he has the rematch clause. So like he
oh,
can't,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
he can't deny it because he was the champ. Like that nigga just took
okay. I didn't know
all
that's
his
how it
belts
works.
and
Okay,
shit.
that's cool.
So he has
Yeah,
the
because I was
rematch
wondering. I'm
clause.
like, this man just took all his belts. Like, I get it, but dang, all of them. Nah, come on now, all of them. That was wild. I'm still trying to see how those work too, because I know in UFC it's a little bit harder to just be moving up weight classes and stuff compared to like boxing, where it's like these dudes can just. I don't know. I know the weight classes are a little bit different, but
Yeah, Yeah, but see, and that's the thing in boxing, like y'all, of course, clearly. I mean, anything y'all both gotta agree. But um, he's trying to get him to move up. But if he don't agree, then hey,
Yeah. Take your time with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't
it's
hop
gonna be
back
a
in and
long-ending conversation.
yeah. I honestly don't do it until the end, until 2024. Just let the rest. Wait, where are we at? We're halfway through the year. Maybe if you want to end the year like that, but I don't know if you want to end the year like that again. But maybe you might want to wait till
Right,
then. Maybe you
right.
might want to wait till then. But Usman went and tried to get his right back, and I think that's what didn't help it either. Too, like you tried to come right back. Should have took your time because I think that fight happened in. I think it was the end of 2022. I think it was like around that time, and then you try to get it back in March, and I don't think it really worked out for him. It just wasn't enough. Yeah, I just think
Yeah,
the judges are going to be biased off of like the fact that the last minute of the last round he just plopped you with a nice head kick and took your belt from you. And I think they also was like I think was that before or after Adesanya lost too. I can't
mm.
remember which one of them lost first because
I
the
think
huge.
Usman lost first, then Izzy lost, then Usman lost, then Izzy got it back.
Yeah. Izzy got it back. I remember seeing that because when Buddy hit that bow and arrow, I was like, dog, that was disrespectful, bro. Like, you ain't had to do Buddy like that. That man said, oh, finished him. I'm like, okay, this man done brought anime too much into the UFC spectrum. That man do not care. And we'll see about that one. But did you see about him and the South African dude? About him
The
arguing with that dude? Yeah.
Nah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was basically, it's South African dude, and he had called out, how in UFC they call them the African Kings, and Ngannou, Adesanya, and Usman, because they were all champions at the same time, and the first time like three champions were from Africa or something like that at the same
Yeah,
time. And he called them out and was like, "Y'all not even from Africa. Like y'all don't train in Africa." That's what he was saying. He said, "Y'all," and he's South Africa. He's born in South Africa, but he's not originally. If you get where I'm going with that. So he was basically calling them out. And then I think he had a fight. And you know how lately they've been doing like as soon as the fight ends, they let somebody come up on stage that they might fight, like on some
hmm
weird like on the next episode, like type stuff. The way they keep doing that, like how the Shakur and Haney was like Haney had literally won the fight, and the next thing you know, Shakur, yeah, we gonna fight. It's like, dog,
right.
whoa, where'd you come from, bro? They just let you up here. So he kind of did the same thing. Adesanya came up there and he was just like, say the N word, my brother. I bet you can't say that, So he was just kind of like
Dang.
testing at him. And the white dude was saying stuff too. It was just like it was a little bit cringe because usually I never seen that at Adesanya, and it was cringe because it was just like the environment of UFC. They're not really gonna respect that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.
Yeah, they're not.
Like we looked at it like, oh, okay, yeah, you got to check him on that because he was kind of talking a little bit of like, y'all not really African. When it's like, bro, who are you to say that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just because yeah, they don't technically train out of Africa, but their parents are from there. They sound like they're from Africa. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? So he did have to check him for the community, but the way he went about it, it looked real like cringy and just not. It just looked weird. It just looked off, and it was like, you could have checked him a better way, or you could have just checked him by beating him. So now you definitely got to beat him too.
Yeah,
You
now you
know?
definitely gotta win. But well, I wanted to mention this real quick. I just saw this post. So they said Tony Ferguson's UFC career from 2013 to 2019, 12-0. From 2020 to 2023, 0-6.
Ooh wee.
Been getting his ass beat, man, for quite a while, bro. It's time to put them cleats up, man. I want to throw them things across the wires.
Yeah. Put the gloves up, man. Put the gloves up, man. 0-6. Well, but then again, do you really want to go out like that though? You can't go
Yeah,
out on an 0-6
yeah, I'm
streak.
out of
You
here. I'm
you
out of
got
here,
to get
bro. I'm
one.
not
What is
getting my
that?
ass whooped no more, bro. After
Okay,
five.
okay. You're at 19 fights. You said 2013. He was 13-0 or something like that.
12-0.
12-0. Now you're at six. You got two. You got 2 more to get to 20 fights.
I'm
You
not.
gotta
I
get
don't
2 more
care to
in.
even get to 20 fights,
You
bro. I
got
don't.
to. You gotta last
I'm
20. You
not
can't
going back out
retire.
there and getting my ass beat again.
Okay,
0-6
okay.
is
The
crazy,
12
and
and 0.
he's
Did you
not.
get a championship out of it?
No. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I mean, regardless, bro. Like, bro, I'm 0-6 now. There's no regard. Like, there's no. It's not like boxing. Like
It's
you
like
just
Greg
mentioned.
Hardy. It's like Greg Hardy. A lot of I think he got like real hot, and then things just wasn't good for Greg Hardy no more. Like I
Yeah,
don't.
like
He just be getting
hell
beat up
no,
now.
bro. You just gotta get out of here, bro. It's time to go. Like I am
Oh,
sorry.
I think who I knocked him out that one time. Tui Vasa, the dude that be drinking the beer at the shoe.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's funny.
yeah,
I haven't
he's
seen him
funny
in
as
a
fuck.
minute.
I think he had got hurt.
Oh,
I
okay.
think he had got
Yeah.
hurt, so he probably healing, getting himself back right.
Yeah, and I be thinking about that with like UFC. It's like these dudes, they already have a huge gap between fights. So imagine a huge gap plus an injury. These dudes don't be fighting for years. You know what I'm saying? Like with the McGregor, like I don't think it's more because they know McGregor can still pull numbers to fight, but it's just the fact that that injury probably really set him back to the point where they like we don't know when you're gonna be fully ready to do a real fight again, if you
Nah,
really
facts,
can.
facts,
Yeah, the
facts.
UFC injuries can really set these boys back. But
Yeah, man.
that's why that's why I feel like it still is behind boxing because boxing is different because the less injuries with it and it's just the history behind it because technically UFC is really new because when I was with my uncles and his brother and all his friends they was asking me who you got nephew who you got and I was like I got him, but I'm not really into this. I'm really a little bit more into UFC. They always like, well, that's too much. Like, it's not really. It's really our generation's thing.
Yeah,
That's really, really tapping into it for real. I think the people that are older generations were fans of the martial arts itself. But I feel
yeah.
like
They didn't
now you're
grow up
having, yeah, we're
watching this.
growing
I
up
mean,
watching,
they grew up backyard fights and stuff like that.
yeah,
That
and,
and it
and,
was
and regular
illegal,
boxing.
and it
They,
was illegal fights. But you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like now, this is a legal sport, and so that's what Dana White has brought to us. And I guess like you said, like we grew up with it, but and we enjoy it.
Yeah, like I remember, I think ninth grade was when I started because that's when I saw John Jones hit somebody with that elbow, with that spinning elbow. I was like, dog, I think I need to watch some UFC whenever I get it. But when you're in high school, you don't have me personally. I ain't had no pay per view. I ain't had no access to the pay per view. My dad wasn't into UFC, so it was like I just had to watch based on what
Right.
ESPN told me, and ESPN was telling me John Jones and Conor McGregor, and then
Okay.
I'm trying to think of one other person, but they were the face of UFC at the time. So yeah, they're the legends, and then Silva, of course, Silva,
Yeah, Silver was Silver,
yeah,
but
and then Cormier and stuff like that. So yeah,
but yeah,
those
man.
guys. UFC's on its way though. I think soon within the next generation, I think like the children that we would raise would really be into it over boxing because I really don't know. As much as I know, they talk about like Earl Spence with the 3 belts. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know he was that. I didn't know he had that many. Like I was like, oh, I just thought he was up and coming. So it's like
Nah,
boxing.
nah.
Boxing is still good, but I think in terms of celebrity, I think UFC is starting to get up there. But it's hard to keep it because the hype of a fighter doesn't help when they only have a few fights. You know what I mean? As to boxing, where you could probably do 2 or 3 a year, maybe even 4. I feel like Shakur Stevenson fought a couple of times this year already. You know,
Yeah, and looking to fight more, but yeah, bro. That shit crazy. That
yeah,
fighting life is definitely different. But
yeah, it's a different breed over there. We're gonna see about it. But yeah, man, we're gonna wrap it up with this, man. We had a good conversation about the boxing and the UFC and the future of that, man. And, well, thanks for joining the talk heavily opinionated podcast. We always trying to do
facts,
something new, have a different type of conversation. Me and Pat just sat here and talked a little bit of fighting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you guys are used to the soccer, the football, the basketball, but we getting there. Basketball season's kind of slow right now. You
right?
know
It's a
what I'm
little
saying? I'm gonna
dead.
definitely talk about some soccer soon coming up. And football, we gonna get right into it soon. The fantasy football
Absolutely,
draft is on the way. Preseason
absolutely.
starts, I think, this weekend. The first, like the Hall of Fame game or whatever, starts this weekend. College football will be here soon. All that. But right now, we had to talk a little bit of that fight because I know you watched it. So we had to talk a little bit about it.
Nah, that's a bet, man. Yeah. I appreciate y'all tuning in for sure.
Most definitely. Be on the lookout for everything that we got dropping. You already know we'll be back right with it next week. Peace.
Peace.